But we had an issue with our van. So there was a noise that it was making, and it had been making that noise before, so it's kind of our fault that we didn't get it taken care of in our really long break in Tennessee, but it had gotten better. So we were like, it's fine. And then once we actually started our adventure, this time it progressively got worse. So hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Nitty Natty. Welcome to episode 273 of the Love and Stitches podcast. Today I'm coming to you from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. This is my first podcast in Canada, which is really exciting. We are in our hotel in Montreal here for Knit City this weekend, which is really exciting. And we are coming out of a few kind of crazy travel days. I will explain more of that later on in the life section, but Kent is currently on his way back from Ottawa with our van that has been in the repair shop. Like I said, I will get into all of that later. I have a decent amount of project things to talk about. I feel like I made a ton of progress towards all of my projects this past week because we were staying with a friend. And so I got a lot of like winding and prepping and things done. So I'm excited to share all of that with you. But first, I want to say a big thank you to today's podcast sponsor, Craftsy. Craftsy is an online community and resource where millions of crafters, makers, and DIY enthusiasts can find creative inspiration, advance your skills, and learn new ones along the way. Craftsy offers more than 2,000 exciting classes in over 20 popular categories, like knitting and crocheting, but also sewing, quilting, painting, and more. I actually went back and revisited a class called Spin the Yarn You Really Want by Jillian Moreno. I got to take an in-person class this past weekend, no, 2 weekends ago at Maryland Sheep and Wool. So it was really fun to go back and rewatch it and get even more out of it. I feel like summer is a great time to set a goal to learn something new. With Craftsy, there are endless possibilities, from mastering sock knitting to building a little library, which is my dream one day for sure. Crafty's classes are broken down into easy to follow lessons, which means you can pick up and learn at any time. Members get unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes, exciting projects, and mouth-watering recipes, but also Craftsy's live streaming tutorials and Q&As with experts. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. Thanks again to Craftsy for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into the projects. First up today, I have been putting in some work on my Skyline Tee by Tori Yu. We are doing a summer tops make along in the Love and Stitches membership. We're gonna have Tori on next month to get to interview her, which I'm really excited for. I'm kind of wondering if I could finish this top before that interview. Not that that's like needed or anything. I don't even know if I will be wearing it because I'll probably be in the van and I'll be really hot, but it's kind of a fun goal. So that's June 7th, I think. Yeah. Oh, that's the same day as the Sock Week stuff goes live. Anyway, just trying to sort out all the dates in my head because things are crazy now with travel. But I would love to show you the progress that I have made. So I basically stopped working on the body. I guess I've done a tiny bit on the body. I think from like my cute little marker right here. So I just did a couple inches on the body, enough to try it on. So if you remember from the last podcast, I did make a modification. So when I chose my size, I was banking on my gauge being a little bit larger than Tori's gauge. Then once I actually started knitting, it seems like my gauge has maybe shrunk a little. Actually, I should remeasure it because I am now working in the round again, and I also have blocked this piece, but I haven't done that quite yet. Anyway, I stopped working on the body because I wanted to work on some other pieces. I wanted to finish the collar, I wanted to finish the sleeves for many reasons. One, just to get that part out of the way, and then I just have easy knitting to do. Two, I find it really helps with figuring out the fit, if you can see like if the collar is done, because that sometimes pulls things up, if both sleeves are done, because then you can really get a sense of like where it's falling. And also because of my yarn. So I'm using 2 skeins of Ruby and Roses in her Rose Lace, I think it's called. It's a 100% superwash BFL 2-ply. Wait, 100%? Yeah, 100%. So I've got 2 skeins that I am holding together. So for the body, when I started that, I pulled from the inside. And then for the collar, the neck, no, for the collar, which is the neck and the sleeves, I've been pulling from the outside. And you can actually tell now, these 2 look pretty different on the outside. This one's a little bit darker, this one's a little bit lighter, so it's really blending them together nicely since I'm holding the lace weight double to make fingering weight. So that's working out really nicely, but it was really annoying to have 2 strands coming from the inside and 2 strands coming from the outside because things would get tangled up. So I ended up just breaking that for the body, and I'm like, let me pull from the outside, let me finish up my other things. So that the yarn's all coming from one place. And then when I go back to the body, I'll be pulling from the inside again. So it will be continuous, you know? Anyhow, lots of reasons for me to get the sleeves and neck done first. So I tried it on. I am happy with, oh, that's what I started talking about. Sorry. So if you remember from last week, I was hoping to get a larger gauge, and then I chose a size, like I'm kind of between the 38 and the 42 size. So I figured if I have a larger gauge and I knit the 38 size, I'm gonna get something around 39 inches, and that would be really great for me. But my gauge was coming out smaller. So to kind of correct that, I ended up casting on some sleeves under the arm. In the pattern, when you join the underarms, because it's a drop shoulder, you don't add any stitches. So I ended up adding 6 stitches, which gave me more space in the body and more space in the arm. I'm really glad that I did that. I was worried that it was gonna cause like too much fabric to bunch up. And so far so good, it doesn't seem to be a problem, but it definitely gave me the space that I needed. I think in the body, I would have been like so, but in the arms, I definitely needed that space. And that is true for me in a lot of patterns. I often need to pick a smaller bust size and adjust the depth of the armhole, because even though I'm like smaller here, I'm not actually a smaller size overall. So anyway, that worked out great, but now I'm testing out something else. So I knew going into this pattern that I was probably going to shorten the sleeves. I think that the sleeves look really great on Tori and a lot of the people that have made this, but I don't really like a mid-length sleeve for me. I'm either kind of a full-length sleeve girl or like a shorter sleeve. So when I did sleeve number 1, I shortened the sleeve by 1 inch. So instead of working, I think 4 inches here, I worked 3 inches. And instead of working 1 inch of ribbing, I did 3/4 of an inch of ribbing. So no huge differences. And when I try this on, it still kind of comes down a little long. So when I picked up the second sleeve, I thought, let's just test it out while we're doing things. And I only made this sleeve 2 inches long and then 3/4. So 2 3/4 on this side, 3 3/4 on the other side. So you can see the difference there. And I only just finished doing this sleeve, the ribbing on this sleeve yesterday. So I think what we need to do is try this on right now, and maybe we can decide together what sleeve length I should do. Alrighty. I've been overlooking in the full length mirror. So nice to have a full length mirror to look in. I haven't had one of those in years. So what do you think? This is the sleeve that's a little bit longer, is still shorter than the pattern. So it's 1 inch shorter than the pattern. And then this is the one that I shortened a lot, because I tried on this one and like when it was on its own, I kind of thought it was a little long, but I think now I'm actually leaning towards this one. Hold on, let me pop up a little bit higher here. What do you think? It would also be a little bit easier to just take the ribbing out and then like add another inch and then do this one than it would be to tink back, or not tink back. I guess I would like put my needle in and frog back. So it's not really that big of a deal either way. So it's more really just about the preference. I do think they're both cute. But yeah, I think I want to go for something almost like a little more formal, similar to how the pattern is. So I think I'm going to go with this one. But also, can you see the body is looking pretty nice because I did add those extra stitches under the arm. And the arms, I think I'm really glad that I did it because I think they would have been too tight if I hadn't done that. And again, that's just probably my proportion size and my gauge. So yeah, I think I'm happy. I'm happy that I tested this, and I don't think there's too much bunching here under the arms. I mean, maybe just a touch, but okay, let me know what you think about the sleeves. Was there anything else I wanted to make sure to share with you on this? I think I just gotta finish the sleeves and go ahead and bind them off. I have them both on tubing at this point. And then I will just be knitting and knitting and knitting on the body. I think I'm gonna have plenty of yarn. I was a little concerned because I am right at the yardage for the size that I'm making. Plus I'm making changes to it. I'm making it with a few more stitches, all of those things, but I think I'm gonna be okay. So I will just be able to knit and knit on the body until I either run out of yarn or reach the length that I want. And this is gonna be like a super easy project for me to now take around. So very happy with this. So happy to have like the collar and stuff done and almost with the sleeves. Hopefully I can get those done tonight. Next project, huge news. I have finished spinning, just the spinning part of my big project, my How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days countdown from February. So I am so happy to have that done. I really debated whether I wanted to bring all of that on this trip because it takes up a ton of space in my tiny little overhead thing where I can keep all of my yarn and projects, but I'm really glad that I brought it. So I think I had 10 days left of my final part of my second ply. So they were all little 1/4 ounces and it was like 2.25 ounces in total. So once I actually started spinning it, it took me just a couple of days, maybe like 3 days of spinning for, I don't know, half an hour or so. I really do feel like after I had the class at Maryland Sheep and Wool with Jillian Moreno, I was re-inspired, reinvigorated to spin again. And then being at my friend Brianna's house, she taught me to spin. That really got me encouraged. I had these like lofty goals of thinking I could maybe get a lot of plying done as well. And I did get a little bit of plying done. I'll show that in just a second. But before we get more into this project, I did want to show you I still had some yarn or some fiber left over from the class that I took. So I did a little bit more of like playing and practicing. I had some roving that I was practicing, spinning, really not the easiest for me. I learned that I have been spinning top where all the fibers are going in the same direction, whereas roving, they're like going all in different directions. So I found roving a lot more challenging to spin. But it was good. I got to practice with a bunch of different fibers and get all of that kind of like wrapped up before I repacked the van because again, limited space. But I did create this little sample and I'm not gonna do anything with this, but it was fun. I practiced parallel drafting. So I had the pink and green holding them parallel to each other as I spun. And then I did a chain ply again. And I'm really liking chain ply. I think that's something that I want to do for a project sometime in the future. This large project that I'm doing, I am doing a 2-ply. So I am just, holding both singles together and, spinning them in the opposite direction to ply them. But a chain ply ends up being a 3-ply and it's a chain like a crochet chain. So it ends up being this pretty cool, like really round and nice yarn. And with the parallel drafting, it blended the colors together in a really interesting way. So I'm really happy. This was fun to practice. I guess I could like set this and maybe knit with it a little bit, but I probably won't. But it was still fun to do and to practice. And I'm really, really happy with all that I got to learn in that class. So, okay, let's talk about this project. I have started plying. At first, I want to show you this picture because this is fun and all, but look at this picture. You can see all of these colors laid out. So on the top, is my first ply, my first single, where I spun everything. I split the braid in half, and it's a ½ ounce of every color for 28 days. And then on the bottom is, so I did a fractal. So on the bottom, I split that second ½ ounce in two. And so I went days 1 through 28, a ¼ ounce each, and then days 1 through 28 again. So knowing that now, I just had those last 10 days of the second half of the second single to do. So I was so close to finishing up the spinning of this and just burned out, and I'm really happy to be back into it. So I'm really excited to see how these colors all look once they are together. I am planning to make a sweater out of this. I should end up with about 7-ish skeins of something. I think that's probably going to be maybe a lighter sport weight. I won't really know until I'm totally done, so we'll see. But I would love to make a crew neck version of the Traveler. I have the Traveler hoodie. I wear it all the time, and this is going to be a crazy colored sweater. Like, it's going to be a little bit wild. I mean, the colors do all blend together nicely, but it is a lot of different colors. So I think doing something that's relatively simple but has a little texture and making it like a sweatshirt kind of a thing will be fun and will make sense. So that's the loose plan for now. We'll see when I get there. My kind of intention is to try to ply every single day. So I haven't really figured out how spinning is gonna work for me in the van, because it's not easy to set up, right? Like, if you have a wheel at home, you can just kind of leave it set up. For me, I cannot do that. I guess I could, hold on, let me get this out of here and then move this so I stop crinkling. So I guess I could set it up, but there's not really a practical way to set it up. So what I'm doing instead is I have this basket, which acts as storage for my wheel and things, accessories, but it is also my Lazy Kate. Oh, that reminds me, I need to text Kent to bring in my dowels. So I have these wooden dowels that go through the holes and they hold my bobbins so that I can ply and also take the yarn off the bobbins. So that works really, really great. But what I'm realizing is I kind of need to finish a bobbin. Like, if I'm going to spin, I think it will be most worth it if I have at least ½ an hour to 45 minutes so that I can ply an entire bobbin, break it, and completely put everything away. What I've done right now, let me get into this. I am hoping to do a little plying here, maybe in the hotel room, we'll see. What I have done right now, be very careful with this, is I forgot that I had started plying when I was at Brianna's, and then I just went to bed. And then I woke up the next morning, we were leaving really early, so I didn't have time to sit and finish the bobbin. I just had to pack everything up. So right now, these two bobbins right here are actually attached to my wheel, and I just closed my case. I just closed the case. Here, I can pick this whole thing up. I just closed it right on top of everything, which maybe isn't the best, but this case, 10 out of 10. I am loving it so much. It's working so great for me with travel and keeping my wheel safe. There we go. Get that off of here. So you can see, to bring everything closer, you can see that I'm actually working on my second bobbin. I'm gonna have probably 20 by the end, which is kind of annoying. So at first, I did try to start plying on Brianna's Hanson e-spinner, and I have a picture of that here. It did not go well. Compared to this tiny little Nano, this is the Dreaming Robots Electric Eel Wheel Nano. It's their smallest one. Absolutely perfect for me right now. Perfect to learn on and perfect for travel. But it is not as powerful as a larger wheel. And so when I started plying on Brianna's wheel, it was so powerful. It was just pulling the yarn out of my hands. And I couldn't see the ply. I couldn't look at my yarn and see am I getting enough twist? So I slowed it down, and when I slowed it down, it got so loose that the yarn actually wasn't feeding on right, and then it got caught in the woolly winder gear and it broke my yarn. So I was getting really frustrated, but I decided, you know what? It's probably not worth the time it's gonna take to get proficient at this wheel. And by the time I would have like even be decent on it, sorry about that, had a little something in my throat. But by the time I would even be decent on it, it would be time for us to leave. So I just decided to set that aside. I'm really glad I got to try that wheel. It was awesome. Maybe I will work my way up to that kind of speed and power. I did get to try a lot of wheels, or 2 other wheels at Maryland Sheep and Wool, which was really great. But anyway, I decided to return to my lovely little Nano, which is going to work out better anyway, because I will be using this to ply the majority of the yarn, and that way everything can be consistent. So the one other thing I wanted to point out, so I've got, you know, my spinning siren box. I did, before I started plying, make the change to their orifice, which has these little knots in it. I don't think I called that the right word. It's like the orifice reducer, maybe is what it's called. It's basically just a little plastic piece that makes the hole where your yarn goes in smaller. But theirs has a little notch in it. So when I'm done, or when I'm pausing plying, I can feed this through the notches, and it will make sure that the twist doesn't go all the way down to my bobbins, which is working out really nicely. So yeah, I just put this away, put the lid down on everything, and it's working out great. I'm really happy with this. And I'm learning also, like, how am I going to keep track of all of my different plies and all of those things? So this is all a brand new learning curve for me. My first big project that I am plying together, but I am delighted. Let me set that down to be doing that. And I have one finished bobbin, which I have labeled here, ply 1. I have these little labels that I stole from Brianna. No, she gave them to me. But here's my first ply. And I think I'm figuring out, like, you know, how much twist I need. So clearly here, I wasn't getting enough twist, but then like this right here, I think is looking pretty good. So yeah, I'm just learning and figuring it out. I'm hoping that when I do, okay, so here's kind of my plan. I'm thinking try to do a bobbin per day. That will take me 30 to 45 minutes on days that I can do it. And then maybe every like 4 or 5 bobbins, I will stop and I will wind them on to my Nitty Knotty. I think I've shown this before, but I got a really cool Nitty Knotty that breaks down from Katrinkles. So it's like totally flat, and you can put them together, you can assemble it, you put the little skinny pieces, notch them in, and then you have a Nitty Knotty. So I used it a little bit for some of my tester stuff. Maybe I will wind off my practice onto the Nitty Knotty just to get practice at doing the Nitty Knotty again. But yeah, every maybe 4 or 5 bobbins, I will wind them off into the Nitty Knotty and try to like spit splice them together so that I don't have 20 tiny skeins of yarn. It will also be a lot easier to keep track of which is the first skein, which is the second skein, because I do want to try to keep them in order if I have fewer skeins. So tips are welcome. I'm going to be applying this for a while before I get to knitting on it. So anything you have for me would be greatly appreciated. That's all the knitting and spinning that I've actually done, but it feels like I've done so much more because I have prepped for basically all of my summer projects at this point. So I took advantage of being at my friend Brianna's house and used her winder, and I ended up winding over 2,000 grams of yarn. So roughly 21 skeins of yarn in total. So I wound up the yarn that I bought at Maryland Sheep and Wool for my Florence tee. That's in the van. And then I started winding an Advent project. So I have an Advent actually also from the Little Wolf Knits. It's the Schitt's Creek Advent from 2023. I think it's season 3 of Schitt's Creek. She does one. She's doing one every year until she reaches the end of the show. So there will be another one this year, but I do have a picture of what it looks like. So here's all the minis unwound, and then I got 7 skeins of a neutral color. I believe it's her Sandy Cheeks color. I actually need to ask, but she had dyed it for me and had it at her house. So I picked it up there, and I have all of this yarn. and I want to get it all wound up because I am making the Cozy Comfort Throw by a Homespun House. So before I left, my goal was to get all of that yarn wound, and I thought I was going to wind the minis in Tennessee, but I didn't get to them. So I figured I'll just wind it all here. So I ended up winding up the minis and like together into these huge skeins, and I joined them with the Russian join. I thought about doing magic knot, but I decided the Russian join would be a little bit sturdier. So it's basically where you interlock the two strands, and then you take a tapestry needle and you take the end and you weave it back through, splitting the ply of either one. So by the time you knit over it, it's like not gonna go anywhere. So I just wanna show you the size of these skeins. So this is 13, no, actually I think it's more than that. 16 minis, I think. 16 20-gram minis all wound into one. And I decided I want to pull from the outside because I'm going to be working on these for a while. So I made sure to start with I think there's 31 minis. So I made sure to start with 31 in the middle, and then I worked my way backwards. So this is, I believe, numbers like 17 through 31. And then I have, actually, I guess this is 1 through something. 1 through maybe 15. I don't know. 1's on the outside. So I have them distinguished apart. And then I had to wind up all of the skeins that I'm going to be holding with it. Because a Cozy Comfort Throw, you hold yarn double. You can hold fingering weight yarn double. I've also seen where people have held one strand of fingering weight and one strand of mohair together. It's really pretty. So at first I was just winding like single skeins of my neutral color. And then I thought, why not do it like this? So this one is 2 skeins of yarn. And then this one here at the bottom is 3 skeins of yarn. So all of this entire project, let me get it all put back together. I haven't started it yet. I'm not gonna start it until, I don't know, probably until I'm done with Skyline, because Skyline is about to be like an easy project. And when I was picking an Advent project to bring with me on this trip, I wanted something that was going to be easy, and it couldn't be easier than the Cozy Comfort Throw because it is all, like literally all just garter stitch. So it should be super, super easy. Okay, I don't know if I have this back in here exactly the way that I had it before, but all 7 100-gram skeins plus the 31 minis wound fit into this project bag. So that is great for now. When I actually start the project, I will figure out what to do. So that is all together. That felt so good to get done. And then the last thing that I wound was all of my Sock Week yarn. So I had been holding on to them so that I could take pictures and videos and film the reveal, which is coming next week. But then once I was done with that, I was ready to get everything wound up and ready for samples. So I have a picture of all my Sock Week yarns wound up, but it's in black and white because they haven't been revealed yet, but the reveal is this coming Tuesday, May 27th. So it's coming really, really soon. Now I did go ahead and start one, and Kent, you're gonna need to turn this next part black and white so nobody can see the colors. Again, they haven't been revealed just yet, although if you are watching this after the 27th, you can just go and watch the sponsor reveal. Hold on, I've got some tangles here. Okay, so this is not even gonna be that exciting because I started a sock and then I started it over. So black and white, here we go. So this is the start, and it looks giant because I'm making a ruffled sock. So I decided I wanted to make a really cute shorty ruffled sock, and the pattern that I found, let me double check, it is from Summer Lee's Shorty Sock Set. It's a $7 pattern booklet, and it includes at least 3 different shorty sock patterns, maybe 4, and one of them is called All the Frills, and it has ruffles and ribbing, and it's really, really cute. And then there's like a basic one, there's a stripy one, and then one with a pom-pom. So I guess there's 4 for $7. I thought that was a really good deal. So I grabbed that and I started the All the Frills. Now, Kent, make sure this is still in black and white, and then you can go back to normal and I won't show this anymore. But when I started this, I started with the variegated yarn in this set. I cannot wait for you to see this color. It's gonna be so good. So look at how cute the little ruffles are going to be. But then I thought, I don't know if I like the ribbing and the ruffles in my variegated color. I think I want to try it in the solid and then switch to my variegated, which is why I started over with the solid yarn in this sock set. Okay, Ken, I'm putting it away. You you don't have to do black and white. Next week in the podcast, I'll be able to show you all of my Sock Week socks and everything that I am working on with them. So Sock Week itself isn't until July, but I like to start on the sets early because I want samples and also because I have all of the yarns and I know I won't be able to knit on all of them during Sock Week. So getting started early for me is necessary so that I can work through as many of the yarns as possible. But yeah, I just started that sock set or that sock so that I have a really easy portable project to take around with me. So I'll probably be carrying that around and working on it today as we explore Montreal, which will be really lovely. And then I did one more thing in kind of my maintenance and prep thing, and that was to finally take care of my beloved Nordlig cardigan. Oh, I love this thing so much. Nordlig cardigan by Fiber Tales. I used Ruby and Rose's yarn. I have these really sweet buttons. I've got everything in the project page, but this was pilling like none other. Also, I wore it so much that it was starting to look really dirty. Like the pilling made it look not great, but also like it was so dirty. So I finally took the time to de-pill it. Actually, I think I have a picture of how it looked when it was pilling. It was really, really bad. So this is a superwash, a non-superwash merino, I think. And something about it is just pilly, very pilly, but it's so soft and it's so comfortable and so light. Like for being a brioche sweater out of DK weight, it's so light and so comfortable. So mostly it was pilling in the arms and then also on the front. So basically where, I was walking and it was rubbing, but also where I was knitting, I noticed it was pilling the worst. So I got a gleaner and I worked on taking all the pills off, and there's still like a few little nubby things here and there, but that doesn't bother me. It looks so much better than it did. And after I got it all de-pilled, I washed it and got it all clean. And so now it's all fresh and it smells good. And not that it smelled bad before, but I'm sure it smells better now. But yeah, it's just all refreshed and ready to go and ready for me to be cozy once we get into the colder parts of Canada. So I feel so good with getting so much done this week, getting the spinning done, now hopefully getting my sleeves sorted out, getting so much winding done, getting things clean. When we left Brianna's, I felt like I had really had one of my weeks where I just like get all my stuff together and I was ready, at least project-wise, to head out in the van. I've got just a bit of Yarny news to share, and the first thing is that I am bringing back a segment to the podcast that I've had before, then it went away, and then I had it again, and then it went away again, and that is the questions segment. So this is a segment where I answer questions that you have asked in the comments of the previous podcasts. So the way it works is you can post your questions down below. It could be questions about like knitting technique questions, maybe questions about something I've talked about in the past. Maybe you want to know more about a specific project. Maybe you want to ask us about travel things. But you'll post your question in the podcast. And if you will please, at the very beginning of your post, just put the text #question, because that helps me go through and look at the previous podcast and just find all the questions that were asked. And then I answer as many of them as I can in the next podcast. So next week I'll have that segment back. And I'm doing this for a few reasons. One, I was kind of inspired by Andrea Mowry's podcast because she does a lot of questions. And I was like, oh yeah, I used to do that in my podcast and I really enjoyed doing that. But then the podcast started getting too long and so I took it out. But now I don't have as many projects that I'm working on. And so I figured that would be a great way to still bring some interesting things to the podcast without feeling the pressure, like personal pressure to be like, I should be making more projects, because I'm just feeling like doing a handful of projects is working for me right now. So all that to say, the question segment is coming back. So starting with this podcast, you can put your questions down below. Just put #question in the beginning, and I will start answering some of those next week. All right, I wanted to share with you the June Woolen Women box. There's only a couple more days left to order this one. It is open through May 23rd. It is wildly cute. I am not receiving the boxes physically at the moment because it's just hard logistically with having limited space in the van and also trying to receive stuff, especially because we're out of the country. So Andrea has been too kind to send me photos. So I'm going to share the box with you via photos. June's is super stinking cute. Hold on, I gotta pull these up. It is kind of like an ocean themed thing, and in the box you can choose to get like two different sizes. So you can get the yarn and bag, or you can get like all of the different things. So there's a skein of fingering weight yarn in this beautiful like oceany color with kind of like a sea foam mini. There's a really cute project bag, perfect to take with you to the beach or on vacation. There's a cool like leather bookmark that has a seashell on it and like seahorse. There's a bunch of really cute stitch markers. Some of them are wooden, and then some of them are handmade by Sam. And then this month's also comes with a wool wash bar. It is seashell shaped and really cute. And then a candle. And I have to say, I love everything that they do. I love the yarn, I love the markers, I love the bags, but the candles I miss the most because I used to go like at my parents' house. I would come upstairs to start my workday, and the first thing I would do was light my Woolen Women candle, and like put my little music on and answer my emails, and that was how I started my workday. And candles are not a practical thing in the van. The space is too small. Once they start to melt, and then like we're in a moving vehicle, it just like isn't practical. They're like sloshing around. Anyway, candles aren't practical in the van, so I don't have them with me. But this one is called Sea Spa, and it's lemon, lime, and sea salt. And I really wish I had it because it looks amazing. Like it would smell so, so good. There's also two different patterns you will get if you are getting the knit box or the crochet box, and I've got those pulled up too. So the knit box this month, or in June, is going to get the Scales sock pattern by Twin Stitches Designs. It looks kind of like mermaid scales. And the crochet box will actually get DK weight yarn, and you will get the Sea Glass mini bag by Kathy Olivares. And it's like this really cute little bobble bag with a strap around it. So super, super cute. So I will put the link down below to the Woolen Women box. Like I said, there's only a couple days left to get June, but they happen every single month. So if you wait just a couple more days, July's box will be posted. You can also follow Woolen Women on Instagram to see all the updates for that. Okay, one last thing. Sock Week. I've been talking about it a lot. We're building it up. The actual make-along is in July, but the sponsor reveal is less than a week away, Tuesday, May 27th. It's going to be here on YouTube. I have recorded the video already, but it's going to be going live. I guess it's a premiere, so we all can watch it live at the same time and comment on it. But that video is where I reveal all of our sponsors and products for this year. So I'm going to share with you all the details about the yarns, the bags, the accessories. I've been teasing. There's one accessory that's like so cute. It's something we've never had before, and I think you're gonna love it. Everything is just amazing, and it's an ice cream social theme this year, so everything is really fun and bright and exciting. I'm just really excited to share because we've been working on it since February, myself along with all the sponsors, and so getting to actually share everything is so exciting. And then the items will go on sale on Saturday, June 7th. I'll explain all that in the video, but basically we have a staggered shop update. So not everything goes live at the same time because it's all in the individual shop. So if you want to be able to get a yarn and a bag and a stitch marker, those all go live at separate times so that it's a little easier to grab the things that you would like to get because everything's really limited. So 11 a.m. Eastern time on that Saturday, June 7th is all the accessories, and then 11:30 will be bags and noon will be yarn. Again, I'll explain all that and show everything next week in the video. So just mark your calendar if you want to be there to watch it live, and then it will just be up like a normal video after that. Last we chatted, we had just gotten into Pennsylvania after Maryland, sheep and wool. So quite a lot has happened in between now and then. We were in Pennsylvania for over a week. As I said before, it was delicious to like just be with friends and relax. We didn't have a festival we needed to get to. We didn't really have anywhere we needed to get to. So we basically did as much work as we could possibly do, because now really starts like more rapid travel, although we're trying to take it easier this time, but it always gets busy. It just gets tough. I feel like I always forget when you're adding in 3+ hours of driving every single day that it's harder to get stuff done, to get in like a normal work day. Plus we're, sightseeing and doing adventurous stuff. And then that all just makes it more difficult, but not impossible. You just have to be a little more creative. So we were in Pennsylvania. Toaster absolutely loved being at our friends Brianna and Michael. He like gets to relax and chill. I got so many projects prepped. I got so much work done. Got all of our like clothes washed and bedding washed and just like everything in the van prepped so that we would be good and ready to go for this next trip. So that was all super, super great. Really felt like we got recouped. And then this past Tuesday, we said bye to Brianna and Michael, and we headed north towards Canada. So our first province that we were visiting was Ontario. Specifically, we went to Ottawa. So that was our first destination. So we spent most of Tuesday driving. We got into Ottawa just before dinner time, checked into the place we were staying at, and then met some friends for dinner, which was really, really nice. So I got to see a lot of Love and Stitches members and other knitters. And Jen gifted me this super cute Canadian treat stitch marker set. So my hope now is to go find each of these treats and try them and then like use them in my projects. So that should be coming, I just got here. So eventually, so we've got some Smarties, which are chocolate here. We've got the maple cookies, which I really cannot wait to try. And then I forgot what this one's called, but it's like some kind of, I think it's like you can get it like a wrapped candy, like a candy bar. And then this one I'm pretty sure is called a butter tart. We were talking about so many different treats, but anyway, I'm hoping to try all of those things, and I really like the markers. I'm so excited. They're like the perfect thing because markers don't take up much space. So I'm really excited to have those. After that, that's when our plans started to fall apart just a little bit. So we drove into Ottawa Tuesday. Our plan was to spend half the day on Wednesday exploring Ottawa and then head halfway to Montreal. But we had an issue with our van. So there was a noise that it was making, and it had been making that noise before. So it's kind of our fault that we didn't get it taken care of in our really long break in Tennessee, but it had gotten better. So we were like, it's fine. And then once we actually started our adventure, this time it progressively got worse. So between Pennsylvania and driving to Ontario, it was like way, way worse. Instead of happening like a couple times a day, it was happening like every single, every 5 minutes or whatever. Every single time we accelerated actually is what was happening. And so Kent was like, we got to get this taken care of. So we went into a car repair place, and we did that on Tuesday actually. No, did we? We did that on Wednesday. I guess we did that on Wednesday, and they said, we think we know what the problem is. We should be able to fix it. We should be able to work on your van, but you need to come back tomorrow morning. So we were like, okay, that's totally fine. We'll spend a second night in Ottawa. We were staying at a free place, so that didn't really like affect us too much either way. And so we were like, that's fine. We'll stay one more day. So we got up the next day. Actually, let me tell you what we did in Ottawa, and then we'll get back into the van story. Sorry, I keep getting a tickle on my throat. So that afternoon in Ottawa, we did try a few Ottawa things. So we went to Parliament Hill, and Ottawa is the capital of Canada as well as the capital of Ontario. So it was cool to see all the buildings. They were really beautiful, like really historic looking, I guess is the right word. We would have loved to have a little more time to get out and walk around, but it felt a little difficult to like park with our van Anyway, we would love to go back and spend more time there, but that was cool to see. We were also there during Tulip Festival. So there was a park where all these tulips were planted and there was all these vendors and people were walking around. We also didn't get out and walk around that, but we did end up driving past it like one way and then back the other way. So we got to see it pretty well without actually getting out and walking around. I also wanted to go to a yarn store, so we ended up going to Wabi Sabi and checking that out. They had a couple of yarns that were Canadian. So they had one that was milled, like sheep grown, milled in Canada and dyed, and then another one that was, or two others I think that were Canadian dyers. They also had all these really cute project bags, and there was a fabric. I'm thinking I want to get like a Canadian project bag to kind of be a souvenir. I'm still not sure what I want to do with yarn while I'm traveling through Canada. Like, I do want to get Canadian yarn, but I'm not going to collect it in the same way that I did in the US because I am overwhelmed. And I'm like, okay, I did the blanket thing. I've done that. I would rather do something different. And so I'm looking out for Canadian project bags. And there was a fabric there that I absolutely loved and would have been so perfect, but it was a pretty big project bag and that just wasn't gonna make sense for my space right now. So I'm still on the lookout. We'll see what we end up finding. The other things is we wanted to try some food. So we tried chicken shawarma, which is, or not, I guess shawarma in general is kind of like, it's not originally an Ottawa thing, but like there's a lot of it in Ottawa. So our friend said we have to go get some. So I got chicken shawarma and so did Kent. He got it in like a pita wrap. I got it. It was like this huge plate of kind of like a pickled salad and rice and the chicken shawarma and potatoes with this garlic, like fluffy garlic sauce, like whipped garlic sauce. It was so stinking good. And the people there were so nice. I had to, we ordered online and then I went in to pick it up and he's like, oh no, give me just a minute. And I'm like, okay, like no, literally no problem at all. And the meat is like spinning on this, I don't know what to call it, this like spigot thing. And they literally like cut it off. So it looked so good. It was so good. And then he was like, I'm going to give you some extra potatoes because you had to wait. And I'm like, had to wait like a minute. Like, it's not a big deal. But anyway, they were so nice. So that was great. And then Kent got a beaver tail, which is a sweet treat. It's a pastry, I guess. I did not try it, but it's like a fried dough with cinnamon sugar, and they gave him a lemon to squeeze on it. He said it was really good. So it did look really good. I did not try it, but maybe next time that we're back. So back to the van story. So the next day, Thursday morning, we've already, stayed an extra night in Ottawa. We get up early, we go to the place to repair a van. We're there for maybe an hour or so, and they come out and they tell us, we're so sorry, but actually we are not able to lift the van, and so we're not able to work on it. But there's another place about 20 minutes away, and they definitely should be able to lift it and work on it. So we're like, okay, no problem. We're a little nervous. We go to the next place and they're like, yeah, we can definitely work on and lift your van, but we can't do it like immediately, which is also very understandable because we didn't have an appointment with them. But that was like, okay, so now what do? We were supposed to have headed to Montreal already. We don't know how long this is going to take. It could be an entire weekend. It's also a holiday weekend in Canada. It's Victoria Day. So they're not open Sundays already, and they're not open Mondays because of the holiday. So it's like, we can't really wait around until after the weekend, and it's getting close to the weekend. So anyway, we just decided to rent a car. We're like, let's just rent a car and put all our stuff in there and drive to Montreal. We already had a hotel to stay at. We already had a Rover for toaster. So it wasn't going to change our plans that much. We just weren't going to be in our vehicle. Plus we were going to have to take an extra trip back to Ottawa to get the van. So we're like, let's just do that because there's just too many variables. So we packed up all of our stuff, got into our rental car. It actually ended up being kind of nice because driving in a car so much nicer than driving in the van. Toaster had his own seat in the back. He was so comfy and happy. He wasn't sitting in my lap, which meant I actually could knit. And I don't know, it was just a lot more comfortable than traveling in Lydia. Sorry, Lydia, but it was actually kind of nice. So we get to Montreal, we get Toaster dropped off at the Rover, we get into our hotel, kind of freshen up. It was a stressful day. And then we went out into Montreal. We took the train and we went out into Montreal to get some dinner. We ended up getting pho, so we had some tea and some pho, and it was great. And then the people at the dealership called Kit and said the van is ready. And we were like, oh no, okay, it's ready now. Should we go back and get it immediately? Should we get it after the weekend? Basically, Ottawa, we're heading east. Montreal is east of Ottawa. We're heading east after this. So going to Ottawa is going back in the wrong direction for us. So we were like, what should we do? And Kent just decided to get up super early. He left at like 5:15 this morning to drive the rental car back to Ottawa and pick up our van. And he's on his way back right now. So it was kind of a chaotic bit of time, but you know, it could always be worse. So not too bad. And plus I got to stay here at the hotel. I was like, do you want me to come with you? We can make it an adventure. We can get Timmy's. We can like, you know, listen to music, whatever. And he was like, no, you stay here, sleep in. And then I was like, well, I have to be productive. Like I can't like let Kent make a 5-hour round trip picking up our van and me not do anything. So I was like, well, I'm going to get up and I'm going to work and I'm going to film a podcast today. So here we are, which has been really great because now we are, I don't know, it just works better for our schedule anyway for the whole weekend. So that is the story of this past week. And now we're here in Canada and we're here for Knit City this weekend. And then after that, we're headed east to the Maritimes, which is going to be so much fun. I'm hoping it's going to be colder. It's like 80 degrees here in Montreal. So we were sweating. We were sweating eating pho yesterday, but it was okay. I'm hoping that in the hotel for Knit City, it's nice and cold and air conditioned because I won't be able to last for very long if it's not. Oh, I think that's everything for this week. This has been a longer episode, I'm sure, but yeah, getting into the groove of podcasting on the road again. I might do some outdoor podcasts again. That was really fun last time. Might do some podcasts from the van. Might do some podcasts from a friend's house. We'll see. I'm hoping to do some more vlogging, showing people around Canada as best we can. And then also, because I missed podcasting last week, I didn't get to share our Maryland Sheep and Wool and Yarn Centric videos went up. So we're filming at pretty much all of the things that we're going to, except we're not doing full yarn store tours anymore, or at least for right now. So we filmed at Maryland Sheep and Wool. We filmed at Yarn Centric. Both of those videos are up. And we're also filming at Knit City. So yeah, it's really great. Well, all right, I'm just rambling at this point. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.